Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Toxic Radio at Night. We're all in the wrong place at the wrong time. I'm here to talk about all things toxic and taboo. No topic is off the table. If it's toxic to our families, toxic to our culture, toxic to our country, and toxic to our way of life, we'll talk about it. When all the others decided to go toxic left, we stood firmly right. Greetings from my hideout somewhere in the rural parts of Canada, where nothing is as it seems, nothing is normal, because the toxic darkness is seeping into every fiber of our existence. I am your host, Denise in Canada, and tonight's special guest host is Terri. But we don't really know each other too well, right? We know each other a little bit from YouTube and Twitter.
Yep.
But I feel like we've just been starting to get to know each other. So that's really awesome that you agreed to be to do this with me, because I don't want to do it myself. I feel like I'm talking to my own little, it's nice to kind of discuss things with other Canadians. And so then we should start with, maybe you could tell me more about yourself and some of your, where you're coming from, and then we can talk about some of the things we thought we would discuss today. So start with kind of an introduction. Yeah.
Okay. I am a 55-year-old woman. I've been voting Conservative for 37 years.
Okay.
I technically did not wake up until after the second election, and that was after I seen the Toronto Sun report on the federally funded Voters Guide for Muslims.
Oh, yes.
That portrayed conservatives as Islamophobes, released 3 days before the federal election.
Wow, yeah.
And then I seen another article where the government had changed and removed the 5-year limit on non-residents of Canada being allowed to vote in the federal election, which freed up 2.8 million people
to
vote. And so I decided to find out what was happening in Canada. I had retired from law enforcement, and I basically became more of a hermit. I bought a farm and stepped out of society for a while.
Okay.
And I was absolutely blown away in 10 years how much things had changed.
Yeah,
I remember the days of hearty debates with people of different opinions, not that there's only one way to think, and if you think different, there's something wrong with you.
Yeah, exactly.
So the more I looked into things, the more I became alarmed.
And you just started this looking around, so 2019?
I started my research after the last election, yeah.
Yeah, 2019, the summer, fall kind of thing. Wow. So
it was right after the election, so the next day after the election, because I could not understand how we watched billions go out of this country on wealth redistribution.
Yeah.
And then the more I started looking into it, they've been telling us all along what they were going to do. April of in 2019, Finland had a presser on the new alliance with Germany and France.
Yeah.
And her reason was to protect the New World Order.
Wow.
USA not allowed.
I vaguely remember her statement.
It was the same month that Macron from France came out saying that political Islam was trying to create a caliphate state in the middle of France.
Yeah, which was shocking that he admitted that.
I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
And then to find out we were in an alliance with them and U.S. wasn't allowed, so I started really getting involved in my research. And at first I started with Canada, and it expanded to the understanding that this was New World Order, was UN.
Right. So had you ever really heard the terms, New World Order or globalism?
Well, I mean, that's how they sold it to us when it first came out, was globalism. And look it up online. Go onto a search engine, type in some, things that result from globalism. Number one, terrorism.
Yeah.
Number two, selling off of resources. I mean, it goes on and on.
Yeah.
We are owned by corporations.
Yeah.
They've done everything they can to shut down small farmers, small businesses. Everything's corporation, and the corporations don't get any money or funding from the gov unless they're in compliance with UN. You can't go to any level of government in Canada or any major corporation and in their year-end not find the word in accordance with UN Agenda 21, in accordance with UN 2030. I mean, come on, wake up, people.
I didn't realize that. Like, every single huge corporation is that way. Oh my word. That's, yeah. So they have a
struggle. We're not just talking cities here. We're talking municipalities. A little village can't get money out of the government unless they're in compliance with the New World Order. And it's, yeah, okay.
So it's very disheartening and discouraging. It's overwhelming. It's like, how do we, as citizens, fight against this and wake up other Canadians? Because some you can talk till you're, and they just don't want to hear it. They shut down. They're not ready. They are believing anything. They seem indoctrinated, and they don't.
Well, and that's just it. People don't understand that this isn't something that occurred overnight or in the last few years.
Right.
This is a 25-year plan put into place.
Yes, yeah.
And if you can't look at the young Canadians and see that they that they are talking the indoctrination that they've been taught in school, then people are seriously missing the point.
And with less parental involvement in their lives, and they're so heavily into social media, it's harder to have an influence on your own kids unless you're homeschooling them.
When I first woke up, I hit all the political pages and brought information. Like the one post I did was on the study of human trafficking, and I used our own government. Statistics Canada.
Yeah.
In 2010, there were 50 cases of human trafficking per 100,000 population. 2016, 325 cases per 100,000 population.
Oh my goodness.
It's interesting to see what the stats are today.
And
you go in and type on Google human trafficking Canada and see how much pops up.
Yeah.
People, I don't know, is it they don't care or they're afraid to open up the bubble? I don't know. And I'm to the point where I don't care.
Some people, I think they're feeling very overwhelmed by the reality of our world and our country, and they just can't deal with it. They have a meltdown. And yes, this whole COVID situation and lockdown situation is waking a lot of people up. But at the same time, they're almost having nervous breakdowns because of it, because they're having to wake up to a lot faster than we did. For me...
And you're right.
Yeah, over the last
you are right.
years,
you got it in small doses.
Exactly.
Yes.
Like, I got to get used to it.
They have no idea how big that red pill coming their way is.
Well,
it is influenced everything.
Yeah.
Every aspect of our lives in Canada. From our education system to the freedom to practice your religion.
Exactly.
To it all.
Yeah. And then that line that and that's why they're waking up, because the government is crossing a line they're not willing to let the government cross, whereas before it was easily hid. The government could hide it from us, but now it's a little more blatant, so some people are resisting that, and surprisingly enough, some people are going along with, more of their freedoms being taken away until, it's going to be too late, or they're going to be even more indoctrinated in it.
And yet you go on to Facebook, and people are still arguing about their province and who we're going to vote with. What the hell makes them think we're even going to see another free election?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like, wake up, people.
I doubt it. Yes, yeah, they're, and even telling people one or two things, and they're just not even wanting to hear it. I think they feel some people feel helpless. And
well, they're gonna feel helpless, all right.
I feel helpless too, but I'm not gonna give up trying to do as much as I possibly can, you know. And we're all starting to connect together. That can spread, keep getting that word out, because we don't know what kind of difference it can make to others that hear it. It can make a huge difference in the long run.
But at what cost?
Yeah.
I bet you've lost friends since you started waking up to what's going on in Canada.
It's opposite for me. I have to, like, I'm not on Facebook, and I can't, because of my job, I cannot talk about anything outside of this.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And I have to stay anonymous. So, you know, there might come a point where I lose my job, and then I'm going to be really stuck. But it is wrong for me to not say anything out of fear, right? So I'll do as much as I can, stay anonymous, and then, you know, whatever God leads, I will do whatever I need to do. Because if it's, you know, if you see great injustices, I can't, you know, I can't, I'm not going to snitch on Canadians and things like that. There's, you know,
I don't know. I've got to the point now where I've tried all these months to wake people up, and to what avail? Yes, I have woke people up, and but it has cost me dearly, and I disagree with these people that think that an election's going to change anything. All you hear is, you know, let's get rid of Trudeau, and it's like, did nobody go and look at the legislation that's been put in since these fools got into power?
Yeah.
This isn't just Trudeau. This isn't even just Freeland. This is all the parties.
Yep.
The Conservatives, yes, they did not vote on Bill C-6 that stripped the protections that were put in place for citizens and our national security. But the NDP all voted yes. The Greens all voted yes. The Bloc all voted yes.
Yeah.
But the Conservatives, as far as I'm concerned, they were complicit in their silence and not warning Canada what was going on.
Oh, yeah.
And putting a new name on a party like the PPC with how many years did we watch Bernier? Give me a break. We're talking about putting a Band-Aid on a shotgun blast. You know, like, come on. They just have no idea how bad it is.
Will it take a civil war? Will it take something bigger than that? You know, something.
Yeah, I think the paramount thing for people to understand is this is not just Canada. This is
that's what I'm saying.
Right.
And my encouraging thing is watching patriotic leaders rising up around the world. You know, not just President Trump, who's taking a strong stance at great risk to himself and his family, but other leaders like Matteo Salvini, Marine Le Pen, Geert Wilders. He has to have security detail around him all the time, Geert Wilders. So,
I agree. There are definitely some leaders out there that are for the people of their country.
Right.
Our government is not.
So
our government isn't. You go look at the revised Public Health Acts since this COVID pandemic.
I know. Yeah.
Even Alberta has laid in the new revised Public Health Act, April 2nd, 2019, mandatory testing, mandatory vaccination.
Oh, goodness. Yeah.
You know,
I saw that.
People forget that Kenny attended Bilderberg meetings, that he was the one involved wearing the burqa in the swearing-in ceremony. Like, come on. I just can't believe that the people are not seeing past the fake
Kenny had a
news.
window to change, but he betrayed Alberta, just like Doug Ford. He had that window to make a difference, but I think they all get bought out, or they all get pressured, or does someone have a gun to their head behind the scenes where there's something more going on that we're not seeing, that the reason they give in to this all the time, you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
There must it was a couple months ago that McQuinty went and put out the what came out on the commission and of the espionage from China, Russia. They wouldn't name other countries, and it's like, still people don't wake up. So I guess I'm to the point now where this will probably be the last time I talk about this. I'm retreating. It's like, you know what? Perhaps that's what needs to happen, Denise, is that people have to fight for their freedom, because they are certainly willing to give it away. I come from many generations of family that served our country.
Wow, yeah.
3 out of the 6 siblings, or pardon me, 3 out of 5 siblings we served our country.
Yeah.
I was with the feds, but I was not in the military like my brother. My other brother, same thing.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, no.
I honestly think it will take some type of war and some type of, bloodshed and great sacrifice to see any type of change. So countries out there will either be totally succumbed to the New World Order, globalists will just take over a country, or there will be that fighting back. And I'm wondering, this is my guess, and I've been talking about it. I don't get much comments back, but I am wondering if all the patriotic type of countries out in the world will gather together, form a strong alliance against the New World Order, UN, globalist type countries, and if we will see a great conflict there, even bigger than, petty things or this trade wars or Cold War or whatever, that it gets bigger. So I'm a little bit expecting that.
Well, I knew when they found that where the ice was receding, all the rich resources up in the Arctic, I knew then that this wasn't going to go well for us.
No.
And just the other day, 3% of the oil sands sold to the Saudi Arabia. Oh, the same Saudi Arabia that has the largest mosque in North America, in the little place of Fort Mac.
McMurray, I know.
And it's like, did people miss them buying the pork in Surrey, BC?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, you know what? People that stupid, I guess they deserve what's coming.
And
because
I found
it's not like the information wasn't out there.
Yeah, I found a video of Fort McMurray where it was from Islamists, I'm going to say, because we both agree, we don't have anything against Muslims. I have nothing against any religion.
Oh, neither do I.
I have
neither do I.
People taking
Are you kidding me? We have Canadian Muslims that have spoken out. Tariq Fatah, One Godless Woman, with Sansir. Yeah. I can't remember his name off the top of my head now, but it's not like we haven't been warned.
No.
All those people that fled political Islam are speaking out and saying, hey, you know what? It's here.
Yeah, and my relatives
Canadians they don't mean what they're saying.
Yeah, no, my relatives are Iranian, so, it's nothing against a type of people.
Oh, I'm with you 100%. Yeah. I don't care if you're red, pink, purple, polka dotted. We all bleed red.
Yeah, and
I have no racism in me at all.
No, and
I do, however, have a problem with a political ideology that thinks they're going to come to this country and take it over.
Right.
Well, by all looks, it's certainly working, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And being a Christian,
all you have to do is go on to the Quiggin report, and you can find out so much about our politicians and the funding of terrorism on our taxpayers' dollars.
Yeah. And that's wrong. Can you hear me?
Okay? Or how about the fake SIN numbers that are being used to get benefits?
Yes.
Or hey, how about the 20-year gold-plated healthcare that these even the illegals are using, where they get full prescription, full dental,
Yep.
You know, like, full eyeglasses, like, okay, how many Canadians have that? If you're lucky enough to get that through your job, you wouldn't notice it.
No, exactly.
You know, and it's, yeah, I'm just totally disgusted, and I'm for Alberta now. And I will vote separation. I will break with 37 years of voting for Conservative. The only hope Canada has is for every province to separate, so this can never happen again. If we're lucky enough to get our country back, and I wouldn't count on it.
Yeah, it's got to change. There's got to be a change. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, good. I wasn't sure. I'm always worried that something's going to shut down. Yeah, I'm fighting for Alberta very hard. I'm not in Alberta, but, you know, something, I think that would help make a big change. You know, something's got to be done.
Well, the only blessing that we have, and that's why I'm just going to step back from this, because I'm tired of it. I mean, the only blessing that we're going to have is the fact that when Trump cleans out his own country, do you really think he's going to allow his northern border to be occupied by political Islamists or China? I'm thinking not.
No. Yeah, and I'm wondering if he'll be uncovering the connections to Canada, and, you know, like, if
he already has.
Yep, I believe there's going to
be. He already has. You just wait till the Uranium One comes out, and we find out all about our government's involvement in it.
Yeah.
I never thought I would see the day where we were not with the Allies, we were with the Axis, and it's disgusting.
Yeah. But we know that we're good people, and we're on the right side of this, you know, and we will get discouraged.
For what? We're the ones putting out ourselves on the line.
Yes.
For what? So the other 100 Canadians or 1,000 Canadians that don't want to wake up because it's too much? When are they going to wake up in blood in the streets? Like, I just don't get it.
It's hard to know.
Nobody can get to this point and not understand that there's a serious problem in Canada.
Yeah.
So these people that, you know, the polls say, well, geez, I wonder, you know, we hit this pandemic, everybody was forced to lock up. Everybody's worried how they're going to pay their mortgage or they're going to pay for their bills, et cetera, yet majority supported members of Parliament getting a raise. Seriously.
Yep. And now we're $1 trillion in debt. So this is going to unwind very quickly, and people are going to get affected, you know, when the jobs don't come back, they run out of money, they're homeless, they're hungry. We turn into a Venezuela, and I've been warning people, we are going to be Venezuela quicker than you can blink. And they're like, no, it's coming.
You are so correct.
Yeah.
You are so correct. They're not going to understand until they can't find food for their kids.
They're going to be selling their kids just
they
to
can't get
food.
that, and by that time it's too late.
Well, especially if they take the guns. That's why Venezuela is stuck in that position.
It's not just Venezuela, Australia, New Zealand. I could go on, and I could go on.
They're headed that way.
And people are idiots. Trudeau signed the UN Disarmament Pact last July.
Yeah. Well,
Is this any surprise that he's calling for them? At first it was going to be the assault rifles. Did you notice how the 10 and 12 gauge shotguns were put in there too? And of course handguns, we already know that they're for those too.
They're just going to take
under UN New World Order, no civilians own firearms. None.
Yep.
Zero. Zilch.
Yeah, there is that
agenda. And once they
Yeah.
have the weapons, it's done. It's all over but the crying.
So we're losing all of our freedoms. And the
Yes.
other thing people don't understand is like, well, you can't force me to take a vaccine. Well, how are you going to force it? And I had to explain it. I said, you will not be allowed to shop, go to work, have a job, have a driver's license. That's how they force you. They will take your children away if you don't get vaccine. And then one younger lady, she's like, oh my word, I didn't realize that's how they force mandated I said, they're already doing this in many countries. I was warning it before the pandemic because I have connections in Argentina. Yes, Argentina. And she was telling me, yeah, we can't get driver's license unless we get vaccinated as adults for just random before the pandemic. I'm like, are you kidding?
So now you've got that. Then you look at the UNDRIP, the UN Declaration for Indigenous People, where it gives them back all their historic land. And if you go to the UN, you will see that they are moving people into the cities, and 50% of countries is being put back into the wild. They've lulled First Nations into thinking they're going to be stewarding it. Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
I believe that when I see it. It's just like, there's another example, the blockade.
Yeah.
How much heat went towards First Nations.
Yeah.
And yet an NDP and the Liberals were caught funding protesters. But it's all the natives' fault. They've been pitting people against each other for the last 5 years, and people do not see it.
No, and how do we wake them up? How do we... I would like to know that trick to get unity in Canada with all citizens. You can have your own opinions, difference of opinions, you know, your own religion, your own race, but how do we unify? Somehow France was doing it with the yellow vest. Somehow Hong Kong was doing it when they were fighting back. US seems to be doing it in a great amount too. But
Canadians US is in a different position than us. They actually have a white hat that's leading.
They have a strong constitution. They have strong amendments.
Yes, and that's the other thing. Yes.
Yeah, ours is so weak. When I saw,
and that's where I'm saying we need to break apart to reform. That Canada's dead, and those that think it's alive are deluding themselves.
But I asked some of the Wexiters. I said, okay, but I'm totally with you. I would come to Alberta, help you guys fight for this. Totally there, but how far are you willing to go? Because this may take a war, this may take bloodshed, and there are lots of people in Alberta, especially the whole Fort McMurray thing and the control of the oil. You have no control of your own oil there. So are you willing to fight for this in a real way and not just start a new political party? Because that's not going to do anything.
That, you know what, to be honest with you, and that's why this is the last time I'm going to talk about this, there is only one way. The only way Canada will ever be free is we will have to go to war within our own country, and that is just appalling to have to even utter those words. But
it's scary.
Sadly, Canadians gave it all up.
Yeah.
They don't even bat an eye that the federal government pays a veteran's pension to a cop killer who never served a day in the military. And that was on the CPAC channel.
Yes, I
you know, it's like, you know, like, yeah, okay. So I've just come to the realization that Canadians don't care, so they'll reap what they sow.
And when they do care,
and I won't have one bit of sympathy for them. None. Yep, zero.
I think
they chose
you should still fight, Terri. You're a good fighter. We need you in this. I think.
Yeah, if I was 20, 30 years younger, I might consider it. At this point, it's like, why? I'm just waiting for them to come get my land. Because don't forget, in the New World Order, that's communism. There is no private property.
Exactly. Yeah, you own nothing.
You know, and I'm doing what I can. I tripled my garden size and hoping to be able to feed those that can't get food, and that's all I can do. I'm tired of trying to wake people up.
Do what you.
They don't care. Why the hell should I?
Yeah, do what you can, because sometimes we do need a little break. I'm exhausted constantly because I'm working full time, and I'm tired, and I'm at a higher level, so I don't just go to work as employee. I'm running things, and then I'm doing this stuff too. But I still need to take a break as well. We all need that little bit of break. And in that quietness, maybe we'll have these epiphanies, Terri, or these new things to say in a new way, I can't see you giving up. You're a fighter.
I feel too angry, and I think I do more harm by talking about it than I do helping. Yes, I've woken a lot of people up since I awakened, but it's cost me very dearly, and to what avail? We're still in the same position we were 6 months ago, only we're a hell of a lot poorer. And even through this COVID panic, the sheet oh, well, when can we come out? And what are the guidelines? What are the guidelines?
Yeah.
And it's like, oh my God, is there no critical thinking left in Canadians' brains?
Yeah, exactly.
You can't get on Google and look outside of the country to find out what's going on.
Do your
everybody's just
research. Yeah. I think that, well, if you might have a season where you're tired of talking about it and you're out there helping, you're on the front lines in a different way. But, we can't escape it because it is, I don't know if you're Christian, but from my perspective,
yes, I am Christian. Yeah.
Right, so it's that spiritual battle. The evil darkness seeps into everything, no matter what, right? So if we are truly, if we're living in apocalypse times, we know that there is going to be a one world government. This is setting the stage for the Antichrist. There's nothing we can do to stop it, but we have a duty. We're bound as Christians to help others. And Terry, you're going to find your way to do that. It may be totally different than me, and I'm not going to tell you how to do that because you're accountable to God. And tomorrow God may tell me to do it a different way and stop all of this, and I'm doing something completely different. But if we're faithful in what our calling is, because I can tell, like, he's got a really, you have a really big role in this, and you have a great voice for it. You're very smart.
But to what avail? Like, you can't fix stupid.
No.
You can't.
No.
And it's really funny because I'll give you a little story here. I had a crisis of faith, probably because I was dealing with a lot of evil people in my job. And when I started my research back after the election, if somebody had told me I was going to find my faith again, I would have laughed at them.
Wow.
And when I did the research, it led me back to my faith. And it was like, okay. And you know what? Ever since that happened, I have absolutely no fear. None.
Good for you.
None. I'm totally at peace.
Wow. I
totally
feel afraid of a lot.
I know we're at the end of times, and I know we're moving to a one-world government.
Yeah.
The only difference is it'll be Jesus that's running the one-world government, not the United Nations or China or whoever else is involved in this bullshit.
Yes, well, they'll have a
it's like the Greta thing.
They'll try to run it.
That's another thing that gets me going. And a good positive on that was I heard Trump say he's going for who sponsored her. And that would be Club of Rome.
Wow.
That would be Club of Rome. Oh, we even have one of those offices here in Canada.
And I'm new.
Now go look at the member list.
I'm new to hearing about that. You should send me some.
Well, I'm telling you, you go on to their website and you have a look at what they stand for, and then you will understand how we got to where we are with Greta.
Oh, my word. Yeah.
Mikhail Gorbachev. Hold on here. Let's see if I can find it. Mikhail Gorbachev is a member of the Club of Rome.
Really?
And he said in 1996, give me a second here.
Sure.
The threat of an environmental crisis is the international disaster key to unlocking the New World Order. Oh, and guess where we are?
Okay, yeah. Wow.
People don't understand this plan has been in the works for over 25 years.
Yep. And they
just seeing the culmination of it.
They moved right in with this COVID stuff.
Yes, and even those people that think they're awake don't understand how global this is. They're not just trying to take us over right now. They're doing the whole frickin' world.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting to see how it seems like they're moving in tandem in lots of countries.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And yet, You get on any of the social media platforms, and everybody still thinks this is about Canada and province against province. And it's like, how do you help people that cannot open their mind to understand this is a takedown? Hello?
Yeah.
You know, like, I don't get it. Maybe because I was born and raised a Federalist, and I was born and raised in a military family. You know, maybe I see things different. Maybe my years in law enforcement made me look at things differently. Maybe that's why I woke up.
And some are so brainwashed. And, you know,
yes,
I'm wondering how
young,
much more waking up I have to do myself. And that's why I want to do this toxic radio, to realize, okay, Denise, how much are you really changing the way you speak and talk about things? Because I'm afraid to say things, you know, and I'm afraid to say certain words or to touch on certain topics because it's politically incorrect. And I'm like, oh my goodness, they're getting to me, and I don't want them to get to me. But I'm self-censoring my own self so I don't get in trouble. That mortifies me. I don't want to self-censor, you know? Like,
but do you have a choice? I bet you if you actually talk to people, most people are in that position that they self-censor. It isn't that they believe it.
Yeah.
But they know if they open their mouth that isn't what's being the party line, that they're going to be slammed to the ground with words. They will be attacked, called names, yada, 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 and it's just like, whatever.
Yeah.
See, I'm in a different position. I'm retired, so what are they going to do?
It's a little easier.
It's not like I would lose my job.
Right. Exactly.
You know, and if they come for me, they come for me. But I'll tell you one thing, I won't kneel to anybody but Jesus.
Right.
So they can take their vaccines and they can shove it where the sun don't shine.
Yeah. That's very good.
I've done my research.
I totally agree with that, because there will come a time where I may be asked to cross a line in my job, and I'm not going to cross it. Because like you said, I'm only bowing to Jesus Christ, no one else. You know, I don't bow to my job. I don't bow to this world. I'll trust God for everything.
Yes.
Yeah. Because that's a line I won't cross. I agree. You know, I'm not going to insert a chip or get a mark or, you know, it's just...
I'm just absolutely gobsmacked. I went and seen an article the other day where China is testing their COVID vaccine in Halifax, I believe, on university students or something.
Already?
And it's like,
I thought they were talking about it. What
you know what? Like in January, you guys told us it was going to take 2 years. How is it that we're in the 5th month here and you guys are already testing vaccine?
That's crazy.
You know,
and from China on top of it.
It is.
Yeah. I love Chinese people, but I ain't taking anything from no Chinese government.
No.
Because I pray for the Chinese.
No, and that is the difference. People try to make it sound like it's racism.
No.
It's not.
No.
I love Chinese people. I love everybody.
Well, yeah.
But I do not like the communist government in my country.
No way. And I'm even...
And when we missed COVID thing, we have to lock down, but the planes kept coming in. Trudeau just signed another deal with the UN that he's going to take another million within a year. They'll all get the 20-year gold-plated health care cards, too.
Oh, goodness.
You know, that's not even counting. I just...
It's
I shake my head.
It's so sad that I'm forcing myself to maintain some sort of sense of humor, which is why I put those crazy videos out there sometimes, because if I don't do that, you know, sing a crazy song, make a crazy video about Trudeau.
I love him.
Yeah. Well, how else do we survive this but mock them in it?
You don't know how many times that I've come across one of your videos just at the right time, but it did. It made me laugh and enlightened my spirit.
Good. I feel a bit of an idiot, but I'm like, okay.
No, don't feel that way. Don't feel that way at all.
Yeah, this is what I'm doing now. And I wake up in the morning and it's like, okay, it's my day off. I'm tired. I don't want to do anything. I don't want to do a video. I don't want to do anything. By the end of the day, I have a video out, right? So, you know, I take it one step at a time, one day at a time. Have your coffee, Denise. Let's see what this day brings, you know, and do the most that I can. And just, you know, pray that God gives us the energy, the strength, the words, meet up with the right people, the right friends. In this journey, meeting people like you, old white guy, a whole bunch of other people on Twitter and YouTube. Oh my word. That has been
if somebody had told us
and worth it
20 years ago that we would have heard phrases like white privilege.
Oh my word. Yeah, that's just a lie.
You know what I mean? Or, you know, that POS of staying there, him and his farmers check your privilege. You know, it's like, it's just, I can't believe I'm in Canada. I feel like I'm in a nightmare where I can't wake up.
Exactly. And it happened all of a sudden where, okay, this is a nightmare. This is really scary. And it's moving way faster than we can keep up with. And who knows, next week our world can be different yet again. Our country could be.
When it happens, it's going to happen fast.
I think so too. I really do.
Yeah.
I'm curious what's
going to go down fast, and it's sad.
And we have to, very, very like sad. You said, you're already determined in your mind, and you've rehearsed it. I am not bowing. I am not bowing. You know it already.
I'm not.
No. And I've been
matter of fact, they might as well have a gun right beside their little mandatory vaccine thing, and they can shoot me in the head. Exactly. Because I ain't taking it.
Right. Yeah. And I've known this since I was a child, that this type of world could come, and you have to know where you stand, and you have to have 100% faith in God that He will carry you through it, wherever that is. Yes. Because, yes, I don't fear death. You know, it's kind of in-between phase. Do I end up in prison? Am I going to be tortured? Am I going to be raped? Am I going to end up out in the street? That type of stuff. How is that going to go down? And still trying to maintain faith and not too much fear in it, to be honest, right? And in that fear, okay, I'm just going to face my fears and keep doing more and keep saying more. You know, whereas my dad was the opposite. He said, Denise, be quiet. Don't say anything. The government is going to get after you. They're going to target you.
Yeah.
Well, I can't live like that, you know. And he came to Canada when he was 8. He came after a war, so he has a different perspective. He knows how things go down, I guess, maybe. You know, he was very young when it happened, but I can't see something.
I've made some interesting correlations. You know, you go back to, for example, the Holocaust.
Yeah.
With the book burnings and everything. How is the censorship of our press, the censorship of social media platforms, YouTube, etc., how is that any different?
It's the same. It's
the exact same. Yeah.
And even when...
Why aren't we hearing what's going on in other countries? Why didn't we know the problems with political Islam in Europe for the last 15 years?
Yeah, that's true, because it feels like it was only around a couple years, and all of a sudden we're realizing it was taking root a lot longer. Yeah.
Yes, and why? Because there was censorship. Who was the first leader to ask Zuckerberg on Facebook to censor? Merkel.
Oh, I believe it. Goodness.
Yeah,
she's horrendous.
She was caught on an open mic.
Yeah, I believe it, yeah.
You know, there's a reason why we don't. Why don't we know what's going on with the white people in South Africa? And they could be purple. They just incidentally are white.
Exactly, yeah.
You know, why didn't we know that Sweden has been funding terrorist groups in South Africa for decades?
Wow, I didn't know that.
You didn't know that?
No, I had no idea.
And yet it was covered on their news.
Right.
So that's very interesting how people can say, oh, you put your tinfoil hat on, the news isn't fake. Yeah, okay.
Even Tom Quiggin said when he was out in the field how he was surprised how journalists were making up stories right in front of his eyes. They were just creating lies. And I was like, oh my goodness, like The press are really prostitutes. They have sold
Yes.
their mind, their intelligence, their voices for money.
Yes.
And that's
Because if they don't get funding to bail their asses out.
no. Or if they start to speak out, they disappear.
Yes.
But
Well, and what do you think of the federal new policy on all news stations have to be registered with the government?
yeah, forget
Hello.
that. I'm still
We've
speaking.
seen that in history.
Yeah.
Do they not teach history in schools anymore? Like, I'm really beginning to wonder.
We have to teach our own
Because
kids.
people have no idea what communism is.
They don't. No.
It's no private property. It's no going to the beach.
Wow.
You know, that when the UN comes in here, it's going to be outlawed for us to go picnicking or fishing or hunting or taking our kids camping.
And
Only
people
the
think I'm
stewards are
crazy
allowed in the
thinking
wild.
that UN soldiers are already sneaking into Canada
Yep.
undetected, and the minute UN soldiers are out in the open all over Canada, that's not going to be good for us. They're going to
Right.
protect us. First of all, they'll grab every woman and girl and rape them all and
Yep.
kill us. They're not. I don't trust no UN soldier ever. And where they train and where they recruit these people, no, thank you. No.
Yeah, people have no idea what's coming our way. We're in so much trouble, it's not even funny.
Our
Not even
advantage
funny.
over
Still, they don't wake up.
Our advantage over Australia and New Zealand and maybe some of the European countries is we have America. They have their militias. American soldiers won't let Canadians, civilians suffer. They'll be here in a heartbeat. They'll come. I know
Well,
that
I
for a fact.
personally think they're the only ones that are going to be able to save us in the end.
And they will. They'll
You
do
know,
it
like
at cost
a good
to them.
example, April 17th, 2020,
Yeah.
press statement issued by the Canadian Armed Forces regarding Operation Laser, a contingency plan for deployment in response to a global pandemic. Under the terms of the Foreign Investment Protection Act, FIPA,
Yeah.
a bilateral treaty ratified with China by the Trudeau government in 2019. Chinese security forces can be stationed on Canadian soil
Yeah.
to protect vital Chinese investments without the knowledge or consent of local authorities.
Were you the one that
How can
showed me
people not
that?
read that and
Yeah.
sit and say, we got a problem?
Yeah, I started digging into that, and it was under Harper. Was that
Oh, yeah,
under
no.
Harper?
I agree.
That all started.
The only good thing he did for us, Trudeau took out with Bill C6.
Okay. Wow.
The one that all the parties but the Conservatives voted yes for, that sold us out to UN New World Order.
Yeah.
And then you have people going, oh, yeah, we got to get Trudeau out of there. He did this. He didn't do it alone.
No, they've been doing it for a long time.
He
both
did it with a
parties.
backroom coalition government. Wake up, for God's sake.
Yeah, and they're doing nothing for us now.
No,
Neither party, none of the parties, no one.
no, they're not. And that's why I say, big if, we ever see another free election, changing a party isn't going to change anything. The fact that this was allowed to destroy the country tells you that there's no fixing that system.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why
we
would you
need
want
something
to
new.
fix a system that lost us our country? You wouldn't.
We have to become a republic, or each province has to become its own country, and that's a lot of work ahead of us to get there. A lot, a lot of blood, sweat, and
Big
tears.
time.
And
Big time.
and most Canadians don't even know what's going on. They don't want to change. They're too scared. So it'll be interesting where this goes. We'll have to keep staying in touch no matter what, Terry. Okay? We'll wind this down.
I think that this is going to change Canada forever. Canada is no more. It'll have to break down into smaller pieces to be able to correct the damage that's been done.
Yeah,
but how do you get the foreign influence out?
Yeah, we're not going to ever be able to go back to where we were.
No. No, it'll never happen.
Gone forever. I think that. I think that too. I think people are still hoping it's going to get back to normal very quickly. It's never going to be back the way it was. No. Well, thank you so much.
No,
I don't want
it's
to
not.
keep you
No problem.
too much longer. I'm trying to keep it, sort of within the hour.
No problem.
Yeah, I really appreciate that you wanted to come on here. It's awesome to like meet you this way. It's good to chat on YouTube.
Well, I
Twitter.
apologize for being so rough about it, but I'm just
this is great.
beyond.
This is what I want this platform to be, and this is what I want Toxic Radio to be, is raw, emotional, showing our anger, not being polite anymore. Let's shake off that politeness and let's fight for what we believe in, and speak our mind. That's part of free speech. Just get it off our chest. Why not? It doesn't bother me at all. I love it. Yeah, it's really good, Terry.
Well, I'm sure you'll get hate mail.
You know what? I don't think I get very much. And on Twitter, if it's very hateful or kind of weird, I just block it right away. So I have
that's what I do too.
I have 5,000 followers on Twitter, and they're all great people. I don't get a lot of weird stuff. By God's grace.
That was actually how I woke up to Trump being a good guy. Was when he walked on the UN migration pact, and then I watched his speech before Christmas, where he stood in the UN and said USA will not be joining the New World Order.
Yeah. He has made a huge shake-up in the world and a huge change. Imagine if Hillary had gotten voted in.
Well, I don't even want to think about it.
It would be horrifying. Yeah.
Yep.
I think we would be all in prison right now already. They would have conspired with Trudeau, and a lot of patriots would be in a big trouble right now. So,
But anybody who is sitting in Parliament right now should never, ever be allowed to serve in the House of Commons again.
Yeah.
Ever. They're all guilty of treason.
Oh, yeah, that and more, for sure. Yeah, they have betrayed us all.
No question.
Yeah. So take it easy.
Well,
happy
I will. You have a good day, and to Canadians, wake up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Before it's even too late.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
God bless you.
It's too late for the country, but it's not too late for the people.
Exactly. That's true.
Yes.
Yeah. That is a very good statement. Exactly.
And if you have not found your way back to Jesus, I would highly suggest to your viewers that they start a Bible study class, because that's our only hope.
It is, yeah. When the world falls apart, we need something that we can hold steady to, and that's our foundation.
Have you seen the Trump prophecies? Look up Kim Clement.
Kim Clement
on the Trump prophecies.
Okay, for sure. I might have, but I'll double check.
Because I'll tell you, he talks about China, he talks about North Korea, he talks about countries all over the world. And you look at his predictions or prophecies from God, and it's going to blow your mind.
He's pretty accurate.
Yeah.
Wow, that's good.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, he was one of the first ones to get me back on my face.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, yeah, that's good. All right, Terry, we'll say goodbye.
You take care, my friend.
Yes, keep in touch, or else you'll be in big trouble.
I will.
All right. God bless you.
Okay, God bless you.
Bye.
Okay.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. I am your host, Denise in Canada. I'm here to talk about all things toxic and taboo. No topic is off the table. If it's toxic to our families, toxic to our culture, toxic to our country, and toxic to our way of life, we'll talk about it.